Fantasy Builder is now live, streaming miniatures.
Hello. See if this one's deep enough. Yep. How is everybody today? I'm gonna stop doing that. There. Yeah, that looks ugly as sin. Hi, Frank. And he's probably going to be hopping up on the desk any minute now. So C17, C19. My eye tickles. You better not be thinking about jumping up on a shelf. You don't do it too often, but I've caught evidence of it. Toes are cold. I got my heater on and my toes are still cold. But they're not directly in front of it either. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on now. Since it is done and I need it dry by the time I put the fuel tank on. So it'll go here. Again, this is where I was saying yesterday that test fitting is very important. Make sure everything is fitting in right and fitting down properly. We're going to use some of these sink marks to our advantage. So they can hold the glue while I put this in.
At the model student 20 said, howdy builder.
Hey model student, how you doing? Our Tacom M60 with M9 bulldozer should show up today. There's all those. Let that dry while we build the other walls. Can you hear me okay? My snoozac isn't too loud today? Okay, why are these two parts different? One of these things is not like the other. Don't know. And I finished up the Minmay Guard VF1 Valkyrie earlier, and that's what's on the turntable today. And yesterday I ordered a lower profile turntable. That one's about 7 inches tall before you get to the model. So hopefully I'll be able to put some of my other figures in there that don't quite fit.
At the model student 20 said, sound good, fit good.
Well, I was just asking because OBS had an update today, so I figured, something ain't right. Nothing ever goes that smoothly with OBS. We sure did get a lot done yesterday. Gonna aim for the same 3-hour point today. Depends on how busy we stay.
At the model student 20 said, he looks good spinning up there.
I'll do a short later on today to get a better look at it there. It's a what-if design that was actually fan-made that Hasegawa decided to run with because they're like, hey, this actually works. If you know anything about the old Macross series, or as it's known in most of the US, something about robots? Robotech? Robotech? It's kind of like if the Minmay character had a Blue Angel style special guard for her concert venues. I'm just trying to ensure those panels go on as flat as possible. Kind of looking ahead to see what sprues I'll need. And I found out what goes in these cages. I found some good pictures online. One of them had this door opened up. They keep their welders and shit in there. So I need to find files for just a decent looking Lincoln welder.
At the model student 20 said my loco is getting the trumpeter 135th CA 29. There was only one in stock.
Nice.
The largest distributor looks like I got it and should be here Friday.
I'm gonna have to look that thing up since the link didn't work yesterday. I know it's a Kamov, and they're mainly known for their counter-rotating blades. Okay. Yeah, it's the Helix, so it's mainly used by the Navy. It's kind of an anti-submarine helicopter, but it's still neat looking. And yeah, they're not that big in 35th scale, so it might suit your overall scene a bit better in terms of fitting there. I built the Zvezda version years and years and years ago.
At the model student 20 said I think I downloaded a welder file. I'll check and see.
Yeah, no biggie, my printer's ready. I just need to be able to throw it together and throw it in there. And then the barricade set came with cones and stuff that I could put under one of these as well. But it looks like they just store all their miscellaneous shit in there. M8, as in mate, yeah. Any of my British viewers here? Just the Canadians? Okay. And I watched Strange Brew finally last
The
night.
model student 20 said it's a lot shorter. I'm hoping it fits better in the scene. I love the accessories.
It should. It's still a sizable airframe, and being trumpeter, it'll be a newer tool, so hopefully build better for you than the old Zvezda one, which was yet another old kit. K11 C19. C. K. I think its rotor diameter will even fit inside the recessed area that you've made. The hind just wouldn't. No, but I was trying to ask yesterday before I got somehow interrupted and just lost my entire train of thought. What do you think I'm going to have the AAVR working on. And no, it's not the M60. They're too anachronistic. One was out of service before the other one entered service. At least this particular version of the AAV. How it's configured didn't exist when the M60 was still in. Come on. I had a slow start today. Nothing bad, just I wanted to take care of some other things before I started. I didn't get out to do my shopping. I figure what the hell, the two places I've got to be are by where I work, so I can get the stuff when I get off work tomorrow. Save the extra traveling around. Okay. I'm 16.
At the model student 20 said, is it going to be working on something wrecked?
Not exactly wrecked, but something that definitely needs something that size to manipulate it. I'm still looking for pictures of it, and I have yet to find one. But I know they use it for it. Come on, get me your little slot
The model
there.
student 20 said yes, the Hind would have to sit on the roof of the garage, which is going together great, but I may use for something else. Lol.
So are you gonna have like the Kamov inside a hangar? With the roof partially collapsed kind of thing? And as you can tell, I'm having kind of a finger trouble day today. A little more fumbly than I was yesterday. C-36.
George Davis 7629 said, hey student.
Hey George, how you doing? I thought I just heard someone calling from the stairs. Oh, but I got 5 new messages, Jesus. A buddy of mine is looking to do a Machine and Krieger model, and he just bought one of the predecessors to a Roomba because they used it as the base of one. He didn't realize just how big it was.
At the model student 20 said no, I'm thinking the helicopter and 2 vehicles and figures in front of a dumb entrance being spied on by Delta Force dudes hiding in the trees. Lol. At the model student 20 said hi George. Good day.
He's from the UK, not Australia. I will say this, if you're ever stuck in Europe and you need someone who speaks English, or you just, you know you need somebody else that speaks your language,
20 said salutations.
just yell out Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. You'll hear the oi, 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 I shit you not, and find them. Like, if you're ever in serious shit and you need help, that's the easiest way to find somebody who speaks English. Did it in the middle of France, worked like a champ.
The model student 20 said as an old punker I use oi to identify my kin. Lol.
Okay, Sprue, where are you? We're starting to get some empty sprues that we can start tossing on these. Okay, 4. Trying to figure this all out. So that goes in there. That goes in my lap. That goes on the floor. I go on my knees. I may not come back up from this, guys. There go the ankles. Found it! That took an hour off my life. Ow.
The model student 20 said, I sympathize.
Well, one would hope that at least you do.
Davis 7629 asks, you seen that new Eduard alien thing?
Yeah, they're only doing it in 48 scale, so it means nothing. It does not change my plans in the slightest. I'm doing it in 35th. And they're only releasing 1,000 of them, most of which will be bought by people and put in a box, who will try and get to it when they can, who will then never get to it. It'll be sold off, and by the time it actually can be used, the decals will be rotted and shattered. Or was that a bit too on the nose?
At the model student 20 said exactly. Lol.
What's sad is you know I'm not entirely incorrect.
At George Davis 7629 said, what other manufacturer make it?
None. I'm painting it. Which is why I'm taking damn good, slow progress on the one I'm doing. The only decals I would need are things like the numbers and the national insignia in white. Everything else I pretty much have pictures of. But yeah, nobody else does those decals in any other scale. Edward's the first one to do it. So, fire extinguisher. And I'm just going to go off the pictures I have of the real thing being painted. It shows how the layers work and how the guy did it. how he kind of clouded out the colors and then blended them back in. And that's what I'll be using for my main impetus on when I do it. Excuse me. The case room again. There. C12. That's good. Excuse me again. Oh my god. Today has definitely been a lazy day for me. But I think I've earned it too. Yes, but when is it supposed to arrive? Doesn't say, it just says out for delivery. Okay. I'm really interested in this M60 kit. It's a lot more involved than any of the others out there in terms of construction. Hey Aries, how you doing? We're all just kind of here. No, model student, TACOM with the M9 dozer blade. I don't think Hobby Boss makes an M60. Or let me rephrase that. I don't know if Hobby Boss makes an M60. I just wanted to see whichever one was the latest and greatest and work on that one. also got a set of Tamiya stuff on the way for it. Because I want a Hoffman device to put on it. And I also wanted the M8 bulldozer blade for it. The M9, whatever bulldozer blade that is. So, AFV Club does an M60A3 with the Hoffman device. But they don't do one with the bulldozer. Academy makes a bulldozer kit that's wrong. It doesn't have any of the hydraulic mechanisms. It's just the bulldozer. So it's only the part that goes on the front. They don't have all the tubing and everything. TACOM, on the other hand, does the M60A3 with the complete bulldozer. Front to rear, all hydraulic tubing, hydraulic fluid tank, all that wonderful stuff. And Tamiya did the modern American vehicle set back in the 80s and 90s that has the Hoffman device and some other little bits and bobs. So that's the one I went for. Because I want to go. I want to make a good 80s style reforger exercise M60. The only thing I might order next payday would be a set of resin crew figures for it, but they're only 20 bucks, and they're outside the tank, kind of doing a little plan on the ground. Something really simple for a display base on that. Maybe even snow. I want to do snow on something. Not like heavy, deep snow, but that kind where it snowed just enough to collect on the edge of the road and in the grass. And like build up in some little areas on the vehicles. Tell you, we ain't had shit for snow here. It snowed once, and then it all melted away. It's been in the 60s, and we're supposed to be getting rain next week. I got to finish up the Bushmaster still, and work on the 1151 some more. And they won't all fit on the turntable, because I'll have 9 of them. Well, for that you'd have to decide where it is. If you start painting things with desert camo, yeah, it did snow in Afghanistan, but with the camo being a naval helicopter, Kamchatka would be a more likely place for it. Or Murmansk, which would put it more of a alpine woodland setting. Nah, they're not that big. I'll figure something out. Or do a longer form video with them turning on the turnstile, and then each one, as it comes around, changes to the next. So it gets a full turn each one. Excuse me. Yeah, oh my god. I couldn't get solid confirmation, but I got kind of an idea where the radios would go, so I put them in yesterday too. Were the Urals near the coast? That's the real question. Negative. The Ural Mountains are on the southern part of Russia bordering Kazakhstan. So more like here, high desert. Maybe Kamchatka area, that kind of place.
At Aris Studios said hi.
Well, that's... No. Look up the Ural Mountains. They are landlocked. The nearest sea is the Black Sea by probably about 1,000 miles.
Said, I know it's pretty inland.
Pretty inland, nothing. Even the Caspian Sea is pretty far away for it. There's a couple rivers, that's about it. It's like saying, you know, Tennessee is near the ocean. Yeah, look it up on a map. It might change your idea. So this isn't lining up, which is fine. I don't need it.
At the model student 20 said rolling on the floor laughing emoji. It's a River Navy chopper LMDO.
It's the Coast Guard. It's used by the Coasties. I'm sure they'll love some counter-rotating anti-submarine efforts. Just outside of, you know, Stalingrad. Go back a page. We're almost ready to paint the inside here. I gotta get some controls put in. And we are going to fit check.
The model student 20 said I know the Hind was the original plan, so may change my location. The terrain is kinda non-specific other than mountainous.
Which again you would have on the Pacific coastline in Kamchatka as well. Actually, I think that area up there is even more desolate. No trees, more scrubland and bushes. Kinda like Iceland without the pretty ladies. fit together fine. It'll take some finagling to get everything together, but that'll fit. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. For the hind, if you wanted to do snow, you could always do the opening scene from Metal Gear Solid.
Said, damn it, now I have to move all of my trees. That tears it. I'm moving the whole damn thing to Virginia.
A hind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here?
Said, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Just do the opening scene from Metal Gear Solid when Snake sees the hind up there in Alaska. Just put it on the couch. Thank you. Don't just shove it in my face. Just making sure I've got all the fine controls. The only pieces I'm leaving out are the clear ones because they're just not right. These are all direct vision ports, and the way they've molded the clear parts, and it's the one thing they've never gone back and fixed. Frankie, get down. Hold on a sec, guys. It's time for a pause anyway.
model student 20 said, I think the hind is gonna fit best hanging on my wall, vertical, less space with the props on. I hung my bombers and lightnings on bases and it worked well.
I'm back. Mount it on a pole, install some motors in it, and get that rotor going. Have it as a little desk fan. So I want to show you something about the clear pieces for this kit that they do not work.
At the model student 20 said, getting the side eye form Athena dog back in 20-ish.
Do what now? Oh, side eye from your dog. Gotcha. So why 2 times 7? I'm just gonna grab one and show you. Because these are all
The model student 20 said, Aikidoki before I go.
Yeah. These are all direct
At the
vision
model
ports,
student
right?
20 said, Okidoki.
And if you look at the real vehicle, there's nothing in the way. So they'll work okay in this position, in the commander spot, but in the driver's position, and this is all they give you in terms of shape, you know? And you can look it up online. Just look up driver and commander's positions. You've got all this excess plastic hanging down, right? Right in front of your gauges, right in front of your face.
At the model student 20 said, eyes emoji.
So, and even over here, there's nothing hanging down on the real thing. So to me, it's easier just to not use any. The only one I use is the one that goes right here in front of the commander, and use microcrystal clear to fill them in. It's more prototypically correct. Because I hate using the word accurate, because nothing is ever truly accurate. But it's not like the old German tanks where there were actually blocks with a pad on them and stuff. They're much different.
At the model student 20 said, I used resin on them for the Centauro.
Same thing, really. But yeah, I'm not about to use the stuff they're telling me to, because I know from experience they don't work. So that entire sprue, garbage.
At the model student 20 said, the clear stuff back in 20-ish.
Yep, go walk your pupper. The pupper needs to pee. Come on. Fingies work. Wow. Told you I was having a fine motor control day. I need to attach the fuel tanks to the wall. Make sure all the stringers are lined up properly. while that dries, gotta make sure that that's everything. We're going to be skipping back to step 1 for the lower suspension. And I don't think it has that rack in it because... Where's my photos? I don't think it has that big rack in it because this is in the way. Yep. However, there are some little things I did miss. Where is it? Where's the hose? There's the hose, U8. This sprue as well. Need that. There it is. So yes, everything is going according to plan. What that plan is, I don't know, but it is. These go here, like that. So yeah, all that is together now. I need to get the back face on here. Not the door exactly, but the face itself. Sorry, coworker's asking me something. This little horn lives right there. Oh, that could have been bad. I almost just shut down OBS. Whoopsie! Got a little bit of glue spooge where I need that to be clear. That side's okay. Needs to go in there. And same on this side, but these also spread the hull apart a little bit too, so I got to do one at a time. And then before we go painting, I have to actually get the parts for the thrusters put in, because they go in there and plug up those holes. So you really need to work this kit out of sequence if you don't want to be doing a lot of unnecessary damage and handling. Because once everything's painted and the hull's closed up, most of what's in here will be protected, right? Tape that there. Tape, 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 tape. Nice and flat there. Alright, so let's find the parts for the water jets. That's on the other part of the instructions. Spruce. Got him. The main reason I'm doing it is because this little piece here swings back and forth, and that is what needs to be clipped in. I might just be able to put those in by themselves. Let me find out. I think I can. I usually just glue them shut anyway, since they're going to be on land, and these weren't open on land very often. If ever. there's something coming sooner than Wednesday. Good God. So we won't have to build all of it. We'll just definitely have to be careful we don't knock those around too much. Come on, clip in. Of course, one broke. Couldn't be that easy, could it? I really don't feel like building the whole thing. I just wanted to get the interior painted today. And I'm fighting a little bit of back pain too. Fortunately, none of this needs to be painted sky, so I can leave that tape on there and not worry about it. Haha! So do I have any white I could throw in here? Because it does need to be brightened a bit. Let me look again. No, sky's a pretty good match for seafoam. I'm gonna leave it as is. I just hope I have enough. I should. There's my good stirring brush. But I will say this, it's going to be fun looking at that today. Looks like it's very nice. There's the destructions. That's what I wanted to look at. Yes, I'm waiting for glue to dry, so I figured I'd take a look at the construction magazine. While we shake some paint. Now, the one thing I've seen on this kit is sometimes the fenders are made up of multiple parts, and I've seen them go like that. Like, people just rush through building it, and the fenders just look like waves, you know? This is gonna be fun. One more good test fit is in order back here. Everything there lined up. Hard part's these little areas right here, because the hull does bow in slightly. But if you can get them out and get them to behave, everything else does fall right into place. Nothing, a little bit of tape and some patience with the Mr. Surfacer can't handle. Excuse me. could have been bad. Still is bad because I just wasted that much paint. Note to self, don't shake the damned airbrush so much. Just shoot the surface and get her done.
At the model student 20 said takes 10 minutes to put on and strip off lol. Not as cold today, but definitely more snow.
Well, we've got the saying here, you probably have it there too. Too cold to snow, where it's just so cold that the air is so dry that the snow can't form. Or is that just a weird Utah thing? I could be wrong. But yeah, there's lots of times here that the air just gets so dry it sucks all the moisture out, and the snow just cannot develop.
At the model student 20 said yes.
Oh, and you missed it. I had a quick sneak peek at the Tacom M60. Went through the instructions for a bit. Nothing out of plastic yet. I want to do a good video on that.
The model student 20 said if it's super cold won't snow. That's when the snow on the ground squeaks and your nostrils will stick together.
Well, the snow on the ground squeaks anytime here, but we get both lake effect and that high altitude dry powder. I live at 5,000 feet, so now we're getting a fan. The needle got a little bogged down.
At the model student 20 said with the dozer and everything it will quite the piece. I'm right off of the lake, not as high up though. Lol.
Oh, I'm stuck between the lake and the mountains, so sometimes we get a system comes through, it just stays, and it doesn't go anywhere. Then we have the nice inversion effects, too, where it's colder down here than the air above, and it traps all the smog and crap underneath it. You know, younger me would have thrown all this together in there and just tried to paint around everything.
At the model
I'm glad that's not the me
said
building
we
this
have
anymore.
An escarpment that runs along the city. They call it Hamilton Mountain, but it isn't really. Lol.
No, we have we're legit on the backside of the Rockies. It's the northern side, but the backside. So you always hear like the Colorado Rockies and stuff. Yeah, we're the butthole of the Colorado Rockies where we are.
At the model student 20 said got great views on yesterday's stream.
Yeah, that surprised me. Hope we can get that today too. Not a lot of likes. I mean, the usual people like, so I appreciate everybody here who does that. Because that's the kind of thing that gets the algorithm to start picking my stuff up and throwing it at people. But wish in one hand, poop in the other, see which one fills first. But yeah, you guys, everyone who's here and actually doing the help, I do appreciate. I'll do another short tonight with the VF1.
At the model student 20 said it was a Sunday.
Yeah, Sundays are usually a lot lower for me, so that, like I said, it's a good thing. It shows that people are finding the videos. Because if you look at, like, the half-track videos, no one's really watching those. And to be fair, that kind of kills my momentum on it and makes me not want to work on it as much. Because that tells me that, you know, well, you might be in here watching, and I appreciate that. It's not getting out there to other people. For one reason or another. And I don't think it's subject matter because I haven't exactly put the national origin of it in there. So really, I'm just trying to see what hits best and keep going with that.
At the model student 20 said the shorts must help. The builds look great and people like the tunes.
It depends on the short. My military stuff averages about 1,300 views, maybe likes in the 30s or 40s. The figures are lucky half the time to bust 300. Regardless of the music. A couple of my figures take months to build up any kind of actual views. So again, it's a guessing game still for me. I know my open boxes aren't the most like professional or scripted out, but I feel that's better because I don't come across as somebody who's shilling for specific companies when I do that. Like, I don't know if you've seen the videos for like the latest Knights of the Old Republic game that's coming out. The so-called React videos. They're as fake as shit. And when I see like really slick videos done to music and you only see one specific product in it.
Said I plug y'all on my stuff when it's something related to what I've seen or learned. I hope it helps people find y'all. I want more people will see how much they can learn here.
Oh no, I've noticed that and I do appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. And that's the point, is for us to kind of bounce off each other and learn and stuff like that. But at the same time, it feels like we're fighting against the machine when we try and do this. Because it has its own way. And honestly, we're not paying money to do it. Others are. I don't have $200 to fund a short to go, you know, nationwide or whatever it is, to sponsor the shorts. I think is what they call it. Where you pay money to boost it. Because I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I don't want to be either. Let's just get that out there. The things I use because I like, and I've said that since the beginning. Because I've had success with them. And because they're what I know. They're also locally available. That's the key thing, especially when it comes to a hobby, is use what's locally available. If you gotta drive 3 hours just to get your AK stuff, is the AK stuff worth it? Saw a video the other day, somebody was painting camo on a Challenger tank. And said they didn't like the Vallejo Panzer Aces series paints. But he was, you know, talking up the AK stuff left and right. And part of me really, I didn't say anything in the chat, you know, or in the comments, being the bigger person, but in my head I'm like, have you tried those paints? Have you tried the Panzer Aces paints versus the Vallejo? Have you really? I have. It was an older stream, the VOD's dead, it was before I started doing YouTube. I promptly threw them out. The AK paints and the MiG paints and all that. They weren't intuitive to me, so I threw them out. But I can honestly say that yes, I did try them before I drew my judgment on it, and I found that for me they didn't work. But with the amount of the acronym stuff that was being plugged by this channel, I really had to question whether or not his statement was factual or influenced. That's for them to know. And that's what I hope with the old school build, to kind of show that sometimes you need to know the basics before you can do the extreme. And I'll use that asphalt stuff again as an example. It's great they make something that replicates asphalt. What if you're a beginner and you know nothing about groundwork or base work or anything like that? You don't have the knowledge to properly use it. So it actually makes more trouble. All these specialized fluids make more trouble for people just getting in than not, because they don't have a base knowledge of the artistry behind it. And I don't know. I see lots of good work from professionals who know what they're doing with it.
20 said, when someone who has experience takes the time to show people who are interested but not familiar, it brings value to the platform.
But a lot of times when I see these other more well-made stuff and it's all AK, MiG, and ammo production stuff in it, it's like, it's not honest. There's things missing. It jumps steps in the process. And it talks to the product, not the ability of the person using it. Especially when you see that the product is nullified by the person using it because they have to do so many other steps that the initial impact of the product is pointless. Oh yeah. And that's more what I like to make, is just small vignettes that are the vehicle and a couple crew members. You know, things are implied by what you see, but there's no larger story to tell. Like, what I'm going to do with this is probably going to be the biggest display piece. But the story within it will still be relatively self-contained because it's obvious what's happening. The model for that's not showing up for at least a week still. Let me see, where is it? Oh, cool.
But the model student 20 said, see, that's why I think the way you just do almost everything live, it's a better way to learn. It's like hands-on.
That's why I try to, and I feel bad when I get rolling on something and I want to keep going, and I kind of do off stream. But it's also the fact that what I've done is nothing major. It's all basic stuff.
Said, cool, I love dioramas.
So yeah, what I've got won't be here till Wednesday. And the main reason I got it is because it's got an engine. I'll have to look at that later. Okay. But it's not what you think in terms of the kit. But I also got something fun for shits and giggles. It should be here probably next week. You know, I did the Grand Scale Gorai. They finally released Stylet and Grand Scale as well. It's full armor. So. But that's what I'm going to endeavor to do with the LAV C2 build, because the model itself is simple. Get this thing out. We gotta wait on some paint to dry for a bit anyway. So we'll put this here. Get all this against the back wall here. And the only concession I'm making is the printed resin wheels I'm going to use. But the equivalent to that back in the late 90s, early 2000s would have been cast resin, so equivalent things were available. But here's what I wanted to show. I don't think I showed it well enough when I did the service life extension one. Yeah, just a bit too wide there. Double the width of the real thing. But no, this kit is very simple. There's not a lot that needs to be added to it, but there are things that I can add to it. But once I get the Shep Payne books, that's essentially what I'm going to do. And as I do it, I'm going to reference what I'm doing to in the book. Because that's where most of my age started. That's where most of the people in my age group got their start and got their interest. And I think YouTube, in general, social media overall though, is kind of doing a disservice to people entering the hobby. It's not allowing them to see the step-by-step nature of it. So, like when I'm building this, say we come back the next stream, so I'm going to work on the interior on stream, right? Painting it, weathering it, detailing it, just so you can see that. But say we come back the next stream after that, and all the outside of the hull is done. It's done in the understanding that I didn't do anything special or anything unusual aside from basic assembly. So that's something that doesn't need to be covered. It's more of a boredom task than anything. But the reason I'm showing this is because of how I've done it out of sequence in the instructions. It shows kind of what you have to do in that regard. At least that's my thought process behind it. Get you out of here. Sorry, I'm just kind of losing my brain train right now. I'm still waiting on a set of figures to arrive for the half track. It's supposed to be here by Friday. It's in Phoenix. The companion model, which will also be done separately, and I need to figure out how I want to do it. It would be neat to do it so it contrasts with the AAV. In terms of the finish. Yes, that's the other thing, George, is it teaches you use fluid for effect, use specific product for effect, do this, do this by rote, do it by the numbers. It doesn't say, hey, you can use this wall filling paste mixed with some dark Tamiya paint to create a European tone mud, which is also the right consistency that if you thin it down, you can spritz it on to make thin watery mud, and it looks right. It looks better than anything these other companies have made. I'm just trying to find out how to replicate that with what I've bought, since they're more readily available. Can I take this tape off yet? I don't care, I'm going to anyway. Yay. But that's the issue that I'm kind of noticing is a lot of things show you what to do, but not how to do or why to do. They're not showing or describing the reason behind it. Actually, let me grab this. this is an example of pre-shading and wash combining.
At George Davis 7629 said, and that's where the hobby products come in. I want that European mud recipe. If you struggle, then peeps just buy and use that product and limit themselves.
And the so-called product may not be the right color. How many times do you see me put that mud on, and I still have to go back with washes to adjust the tone and intensity and texture of it. But yeah, this guy finally turned out. But I want you to see the wings especially. You can see how the pre-shading and the wash work together. Same thing on the legs there. This is a fun little model to work on. Also by Hasegawa. And if you're out there saying, "Oh, that looks like Jetfire," you're right. Ah. And I can show you too, like, this is called Dark Earth, so it's nice and generic. It's a grayed out brown color. You'll find this almost anywhere in the world. They call this European mud. Where in Europe? I was in France. The earth there was more yellow because of the amount of pollen and fertility in the soil.
Eyes emoji, nice.
Where in Europe is this mud from? I would really like to know. Because every place I've been, it's always this. It's darker, blacker, except for France and some other places like that that have a history of more vegetation and pollination. The French soil is very yellow, very chalky too, as well as a lot of England. So if you were to mix chunks of white plaster into this and have them show up right, you would get a nice English chalky soil for like Suffolk, Norfolk, that kind of area. But as far as this color soil, I would equate more with southern Georgia. Areas like that, not with Europe. But that's what I mean. Ignore the label and kind of just go for the texture. But you still have to go back and give it that variety, which is what you can do with the mix that I'm going to show you. I'm probably not going to start the basics build until February. There's a couple other things I want to get lined up. I need to get those books here, so I need to be able to read those, kind of refresh myself on what I used to know. You know, it's hard to describe, but basically I have to relearn the old tricks, for lack of a better term. The old dog needs to relearn his tricks, and see, you know, where maybe I misinterpreted things years ago, and which is why I didn't get it right when I was 10, 12, 13, 14. Maybe now with fresh eyes I'll see it and go, aha, and I'll get it. There's my butter lid. Come on down and get the Busy Builder's patented paint palette.
At George Davis 7629 said, usually I think it's like Ukraine beef mud. From like
Hey Major Havoc, I'm doing okay.
M4JOR_H4B0K.
You might be a little right, George, but from what I'm seeing in the news in Ukraine, a lot of that shit looks like the darker grayed out stuff. Okay, that's basalt gray. I don't want to use that on the floor. I want gray black. Do I have enough? Feels like it. We've got the interior done and painted on the AAVR.
Student 20 said order now.
Model student knew where I was going with that. Just you got to say it 5 times fast. Patented paint palette.
Model student 20 said, how do you have it?
I've got more pictures of the interior just to give me an idea of what I'm doing before I do it stupidly. The floor is dark gray. The top of the cabinets have rubber matting on them. There's a slave lead, some extra lights hanging up. Actually, I'll show you a picture of the driver's station so you can see what I was talking about on those vision ports. Hold on, I'm having to remember how to use my own phone. So yeah, this is what the driver's station looks like on this in reality. And that's where you can see the glass right there. There's nothing hanging down. So yeah, the kit's clear parts are wrong. On the few of these that I've been able to get onto, I'd always seen the floors dark gray, like almost like a bed liner, anti-slip kind of stuff. And if you got the right brush and your paint's the right consistency, you can cut right up against that wall. Yeah, with the old school build, I just want to reinforce just how people can rely on their own abilities and sometimes simpler things to get the results they need, not having to rely on buying all this pre-made crap that just seems to become more worthless the more you work with it. It's like, oh, we're going to make the mud this right color, but in our process we're going to paint over it anyway. Then why did we bother making it the right color to begin with if we're going to paint it black and repaint it anyway? you're doing that, shouldn't you just use a textured plaster material and paint it whatever color you want? And not waste the time and effort on an expensive pre-made, pre-mixed color? Because that's what I'm finding I'm having to do with these. You can't use them straight out of the bottle, they just don't work like that. And the only reason I'm using them now is because I have them. Once they're used up, I'm going to go back to my old way of doing it. One other thing I might invest in before February is an actual static grass applicator, which those have been around forever. There is an old trick using a balloon to do it. Yeah, I'm not about to put a balloon that close to my models. So I think the surrounds on all these is black. It's like a weather sealing or weather stripping of some sort. Yeah, the tops of all the workstations are... They're a black rubber mat, but it's so thin, it's easier to just paint the tops black.
At the model student 20 said I ordered one and it doesn't work as well as the squeeze bottle. It was a cheap one though.
Ordered one, what, a static grass applicator? I'm talking the thing that actually you put the glue down, then you put the probe on. But you have to have the probe close to the glass. If it's not close, it can't cause the right charge to build up, which makes the grass stand up. And for that, I'm not going to go cheap. I'm going to go branded. So, like, if I have to get the Woodland Scenics one, I'll get the Woodland Scenics one. I need paper towel. And this also needs black on top.
At the model model student 20 said, yeah, that's what I have. It works sometimes, but the little static bottles work better. I think the $60 to $100 static ones work way better.
I'll give it a shot. I don't use it very often, but it's because I don't have it that I'm not using it. I'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm going to give myself till at least February to start the basics build, mainly for refamiliarizing myself with the material. Because it's been a good, wow, almost 30 years since I've looked at that book.
At the model student 20 said, do you have an evergreen squeeze bottle? My friend gave me old ones and they work really well.
I've just got the original, like, I bought this bottle of Static Grass in England back in the early 2000s, and I'm still not a quarter of the way through it, so... Very little paint on the brush, on the brush's side. Just gonna pick out all the cabling if I can. And aside from model building stuff in terms of techniques, I hope some of the stuff I build gets people to say, hey, that's actually interesting now, I want to try it. So you go out and buy the kit. There's a lot of kits that get overlooked in the hype these days, it feels like.
The model student 20 said, I'm using some small brass now to make pine needles. I hope. Lol.
I had that idea once, I just could never make it work. Messed up there. It won't be very visible though. Touch that up. Great. Got the paint a little too thin, that's why. For stuff like this, I don't know if you can see it too well on the camera. You want your paint to be enough that with a light stroke it just picks up your fingerprint. It doesn't go down into the inside of it, but it picks up the high points. If you can get it to do that, then you got the right pressure on the stroke and the right thickness for the paint. would be neat is if a couple guys got the same kit I'm working on for the Back to Basics and kind of followed along their own way. Just to see what the different results would be.
The model student 20 said there is an automotive tools combo on Thingy that has a welder in it.
I'll have to look it up because I'll need it. Depends on the scale though, if it's like an RC scale. I mean, yeah, I know I can always scale it down, but sometimes people don't make their stuff so it scales well. I think that's it for that music. I did see a cat. Okay. Frankie's here with us. Do you ever feel like you're just being stared at?
The model student 20 said it might scale to 1/35. Okay, it's a gas TIG or MIG. Set up hoses would probably fail, but maybe not.
No, this is like the portable electric, Lincoln Electric type that you would find at like Harbor Freight or other places.
model student 20 said scratch maybe.
That might be the best bet. I'll look around. I'm not ready to give up yet. I just haven't got to that point.
The model student 20 said I could have swore I found one and downloaded one.
It's no biggie. Don't beat yourself up over it. How's that? Finer brush for this next bit. Kinda called it. Cool, I got the radio in the right place at least. Woohoo, I'm not a complete moron. Anyway, where's my orange? There's my orange. No, that's not orange, that is brown rose. Where's my orange? There it is. I need blue. It's okay if you can't find it, too. Sorry, just going through some of the pictures to make sure I'm getting the right dots of color where they need to go. Not mixed properly. Still needs more mixing. I don't use this blue very often. Do I have a brighter one? Nope, it's the brightest I've got. We're probably going to end stream here pretty soon anyway. There we go. Kind of running out of steam. There's a couple other things I want to do today. And I want to look for that file, like you said, maybe print it out. There's some cleaning up I want to do down here. These are flexible boots on these hoses. When we come back though, we'll probably be doing more paint work on the interior. I'm not going to push too far ahead on this one. But I want to see what I can do about filling it out better. Is there any other blue in there while I got that out? Olive drab radios, seats, comms boxes, red fire extinguishers, hatches in the same color as the outside.
At the model student 20 said I got distracted from chat with scale converting for a minute printing some shop tools for the garage.
No worries. I'm probably going to scratch build some stuff too, like a slave lead for starting other vehicles. Going to take a few of the cones, get them set up and ready. I'll figure a couple things out. But I'm just getting a little tired too. But I got up early this morning, earlier than I should have. And I got to get my work uniforms ready, stuff like that. I will catch y'all later. Thanks for hanging out and watching. I hope everybody has a good day. We did get the inside started on painting. There's still a lot left to pick out. And there's decals for that too. So, yeah, take it easy. My next stream day, I don't know exactly when that'll be. It's possible it could be Wednesday.
The model student 20 said doing a 20T press.
20-ton press. The schedule for next week's not out yet, so I don't know what days I'll have off. But being that that's also Christmas week, it's going to be a weird one. I know I'll be off on the 25th, obviously. I just don't know if I'll be off Sunday, Monday, or whatever other days. So, yeah, we made good progress, though. Next couple streams, I hope to have it sealed up. I just want to really go over the interior on this one really well. So you'll have a good day. Again, thank